Hello everyone. My channel focuses on introducing the world's famous ancient monuments and architecture, starting with Florence, Italy, because the entire city is recognized as a World Heritage Site. Welcome to a whirlwind adventure through the history of Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance, and a city that is shown for over 2 millennia. From its Etruscan roots to its role in a unified Italy, Florence's story is a saga of ambition, genius, and drama. Let's dive in. First, origins. The Etruscan and Roman foundations, 6th century BC to 4th century AD. Picture this. It's a 6th century BC, and the Etruscans, a mysterious and sophisticated people, are striving in the rolling hills of Tuscany. They established a settlement in the fertile Arno village, calling it Frizzoli, perched above what will become Florence. Fast forward to 59 BC, and the Romans, never wise to miss a strategic spot, found a colony at the Arno River's narrow west point. They named it Florentia, meaning flourishing. Lay out a classic Roman grid with a forum and aqueducts, while here the Arno was a trade lifeline, and the Via Cassia Road connected Florentia to Rome. By the 1st century AD, Florentia is a bursting Roman town, complete with a theater, bath, and an amphitheater. But as the Roman Empire crumbles in the 4th century, invasions by Gauls and Byzantines leave Florentia a shadow of its former self. Yet, like a phoenix, Florence will rise again. The major famous buildings from this period include 1. Roman Theatre, a home for performance. Its ruins whisper of Florentia's vibrancy. 2. Roman amphitheater, once echoing with gladiatorial contests. Second, the medieval rebirth, guilt and Gothic glory, 11th to 13th centuries. Let's jump to the Middle Ages. By the 11th century, Florence is stirring. The city's location on trade routes fuels its growth, and its wool and textile industries made it a medieval economic powerhouse. Enter the guilds, associations of craftsmen and merchants, who become the city's beating heart. These guilds, from wool weavers to bankers, shape Florence's economy and politics. In 1125, Florence flexes its muscle, conquering rival Frizzoli and commanding its dominance in Tuscany. The city's skyline begins to transform with a stunning Gothic architecture. The baptistry of San Giovanni, built in the 11th century, stands as one of Florence's oldest monuments. Its octagonal shape and brazen doors, later grafted by Ghiberti, a testament to the city's growing wealth. Nearby, the Church of San Miniato all Monte, 1018, dazzles with its geometric marble facade, perched atop a hill like a crown. But it's the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, begun in 1296 under architect Arnolfo di Cambio, that steals the show. This massive Gothic cathedral, with its red-titled dome, still to come, symbolized Florence's ambition. The major famous buildings from this period include 1. Tapestry of San Giovanni, 11th century, Florence oldest religious site. 2. Church of San Benito all Monitor, 1018, a Roman square gem. 3. Santa Maria del Fiore Cathedral, begun 1296, the heart of Florence skyline. 3rd, the Renaissance, Florence Golden Age, 14th to 16th century. Now, hold onto your hands. Here comes the Renaissance, the area when Florence becomes the cultural capital of the world. In the 14th century, Florence is a hotbed of wealth, thanks to its banking families like the Medici, who turned gold into power. The Black Death of 1348 devastates the city, killing nearly half its population. But Florence bounced back, its spirit unbroken. Under Cosimo de' Medici, 1389 to 1464, the cunning banker who becomes the unofficial ruler of Florence, Cosimo's patronage forced an artistic revolution. He founds Filippo Brunelleschi, the genius architect who solved the puzzle of the cathedral's massive dome. Completed in 1436, the Duomo, with its 14.5-meter wide dome, defies gravity and becomes a symbol of human ingenuity. Brunelleschi also designs the austere Dei Innocenti, 1490, a graceful outrage with elegant artists, showcasing the new Renaissance style. The 15th century is the period of brilliance. Lorenzo de' Medici, 1449 to 1492, Cosimo's grandson, nicknamed the Magnificent, takes the reign. Lorenzo's court is a magnet for artists like Sandro Botticelli, whose Birds of Venus and Primavera captured the era's love of beauty and myth. Young Leonardo da Vinci sketches in Florence workshops, and Michelangelo Buonarroti keeps his first sculptures. Florence Street born with agricultural gems. The Palazzo Medici Riccardi, 1444, designed by Michelangelo, showcases the Medici's understated power with its rusticated stone facade. The Uffizi, begun 1560 by Giorgio Vasari, starts as the administrative building, but later houses the Medici's art collection, now one of the world's greatest museums. Don't miss the point of vacuum. The iconic bridge from 1345, lined with shoppers that sparkle with gold. But it's not all smooth sailing. In 1494, the ferry preacher Giuliano Savonarola denounces the Medici excess, sparking the bonfire of the vanities, where books and art are burned. Savonarola's reign is short-lived. He is executed in 1498, but his shadow lingers. The Medici are exiled, then return, cementing their grip on Florence. Here are the landmark historical structures representative of this period. 1. Cathedral Dome, 1436, Brunelleschi's engineering trophy. 2. Piazza della Signoria, 13th-14th centuries, political and social hub. 3. Piazza Ventro, 1299 expanded in Renaissance. Florence's fortress like a town hall. Fourth, the Grand Duchy and the Bracco flourish, 16th to 18th centuries. By the 16th century, Florence becomes the capital of the Grand Duchy of Tuscany under Cosimo I de' Medici, 1519 to 1574. Cosimo I is a master of propaganda, missing grander projects like the Pitti Palace, expanded in the 1550s, a sprawling residence for the Medici, and the Boboli Gardens, a masterpiece of Renaissance landscaping. The Medici called the dazzles with artists like Benevento Cellini, whose brownie purses statue graces the Piazza della Signoria. The 17th century brings Bracco opulence, but Florence's star begins to dim as Venice and Rome steal the spotlight. Still, the city remains a cultural hub. The Agdama Gallery, founded in 1784, houses Michelangelo's David, 1504, a tuck-in symbol of Florentine pride. The Medici dynasty fades, dying out in 1737, and Florence passes to the Habsburg-Lorraine family, who bring Enlightenment reformers. The following are the iconic historical buildings from this period. Loggia dei Lanzi, 14th century, used in 16th century. Open-eye sculpture gallery. 2. Boboli Gardens, 16th century, a Renaissance landscape masterpiece. 3. Academia Gallery, 1784, home to David. 5th, the 19th century, Florence in a unified Italian. As we reach the 19th century, Florence steps onto the stage of a new Italian. The Napoleonic Wars shake Europe, and Florence briefly falls under French control, 1799 to 1840. But by 1820, the city is bursting with romantic ideas and calls for Italian unification. In 1865, Florence becomes the capital of the newly unified Kingdom of Italy, a role it holds until 1871, when Rome takes over. During this time, Florence undergoes a makeover. The medieval walls are torn down, and the grand boulevards, like the Valle di Scrovegni, are built. The Piazza della Repubblica emerged as a modern hub, replacing the old market. Writers and artists, including the English poet Elizabeth Brant Browning, flock to Florence, drawn by its romantic charm. Yet, Florence's heart remains its Renaissance legacy. The Bargello, a former prison turned museum, showcases sculptures by Donatello and Michelangelo. The city's churches, like Santa Croce, become pantheons for Italian Greeks, housing tombs of Dante, Galileo, and Machiavelli. The following are the iconic historic buildings from this era. 1. Santa Croce Church, begun 1294, 19th century significance, tube of Italian's luminaries. 2. Piazza della Repubblica, 19th century, modern Florence bursting center. Last part, conclusion. Florence's enduring magic. As we wrapped up, let's take a moment to marvel at Florence's journey. From a Rome outpost to the cradle of the Renaissance, this city has weathered plagues, wars, and revolutions, yet its spirit remains unbroken. Its streets, lined with masterpieces like the Duomo, Plaza Workers, and the Uffizi, tell a story of human ambition and creativity. Figures like Brunelleschi, Michelangelo, and the Medici didn't just shape Florence, they changed the world. So, next time you stroll across the Ponte Vecchio or gaze up at the Duomo's dome, remember, you are walking through history, where every stone whispers tales of genius and glory. Thank you for joining me on this adventure through Florence's past. May it inspire you to explore its wonders yourself.